93.3 KZOZ FM San Luis Obispo. The home of Jeff and Jeremy in the morning.
They have no chemistry at all.
The Master of the Day brought to you by Peterson's U-Cart. They got walk-on bark on sale right now. Everything you need to get your yard in shape. Landscaping materials, from heavy-duty stuff to bark and seed and everything else. Get to Peterson's U-Cart. They're Augusta Road in A-Town.
How pathetic can some people be?
Two Irishmen were adrift in a lifeboat. One of them found a lamp in the ship's provisions. He rubbed the lamp, and a genie appeared and said, "I will grant you one wish." Without hesitating, one Irishman said, "Could you turn the entire ocean into Guinness beer?" The genie clapped his hands, and voila, the entire sea was made of Guinness. His friend looked at him and said, "Nice going, Patrick. Now we have to pee in the boat."
Dumbass of the Day. 93.3 KZOZ.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. A guy in Texas named Eric. He's 50 years old. He went to a car dealership. Wanted to test drive a BMW. Took it out on a test drive. Nowadays, a lot of times they let you go by yourself.
Which is, and you know what? That's going to go away because of things like this. Because I posted last week about a guy. There was a car dealer. A car salesman jumped on the hood of a car as the guy was stealing it. It's happening in Canada, and the guy took him for a ride down the highway out in front of the dealership at like 100 kilometers is. Like 50, 45, 50 miles an hour, 60 miles an hour. It's crazy.
He took the car that he was out test driving to a local bank where he had a note inside a bag. He put it on the counter. The note said something of the fact that, "Don't mess with me. This is an effing robbery. Play with me and die. I want $10,000 in 50s and $100 bills now. You got 1 minute or I will kill you."
Wow, that's serious.
Yeah, he wanted to get his point across. He was in a hurry.
They had to get the car back to the dealership.
Yeah. Anyways, he got the money so he could go back to the dealership and buy the car. They had surveillance of the car. It said right on the license plates, he's the dealership name. They checked with the dealership. Oh, yeah, this guy came in, same car. Yep, there's his license, there's his name. What an idiot.
But you can't turn down that cash, right?
I mean, use a fake ID, and then can you buy a car with a fake ID even if you pay cash for it?
I don't know. Cash does a lot of talking at a dealership. When you hand them big wads of cash, it's like...
it takes forever to buy a car, too, right?
We could knock some of that off the price. Not when you buy it in cash, Jeremy.
No, it still does, because he was still there doing the paperwork when the cops showed up and arrested him. It wasn't even an hour after he robbed the bank. He was within 45 minutes in handcuffs in the back of a police car. He was sentenced to 20 years for the crime. Robbing a bank.
Wow.
Threatening the life of others.
A little aggressive,
I guess he had a pellet gun in his pocket. Doesn't matter. When it looks like the real thing.
Where did this happen?
You get 20 years. This happened in Texas.
Texas justice.
Yes. Well, he's lucky he's alive, right? Texas justice sometimes means, you start threatening people, you end up in the ground. Congratulations.
Seems like a long time, though.
20 years for a bank robbery? He took more. It was a felony. I mean, he took more than $5,000. He took $10,000, which doesn't pay for a car. Maybe it's a nice down payment, though. That's probably what took so long. He had to finance the rest of it. That was just the down payment.
And then because when you have a nice down payment, usually they're like, hey, your payment's only going to be $100 a month. How about you throw on the extended warranty? That's what they do.
Congratulations, Eric Dion Warren of Texas. You are Jeff and Jeremy's
Dumbass of the Day. 93.3 KZOZ.
Don't be a dummy when it comes to your landscape supplies. Go to Peterson U-Cart on Augusta Road, just north of Quickie Car Wash in Atascadero.
We love U-Cart. You stay.
So this is weird. As weird as Elon Musk gets.
What's he doing weird now?
He recently changed his job title from CEO at Tesla.
Heard about this.
To Techno King.
Is it a joke? Is it, or does he really think he is the Techno King? What does that mean, Techno King? Techno is music.
It is, and it's actually it's supposed to pay tribute to. He loves techno music.
Oh, he does.
So that's why the CFO. What is he called? The master of coin?
Yeah, he just bought a bunch of Bitcoin. I know that. Like, I remember it was in the news. Like, it was like hundreds of millions of dollars of Bitcoin.
1.5 billion.
Oh, so
yes.
Squared.
Yes.
Squared. Yeah. Okay. So he bought a lot. So he's the master. Does he probably owns more Bitcoin than anybody then, maybe, huh? As far as a single person.
I don't know.
The Tesla Corporation. Wow.
It's odd and bizarre.
Well,
behavior.
I always thought he was kind of an odd, bizarre guy anyways.
Absolutely. But it is fun to change your job title, right? I jokingly, on one of my Facebook profiles, it says,
for somebody who hates Facebook, you sure have a lot of profiles.
I don't know. Let's see. It is on the one that's the Jeff and Jeremy page. It says, I am the mountain maker of molehills at American General Media. That's what I do, right? I make everything that's not that big of a deal into a big deal. See, chefs being named by their first name. We started the show off this morning with making too big of a deal out of something that nobody ever thinks about.
And you thought, we'll call it chef and maybe he'll explain it to us. No, he couldn't explain it either.
Right.
It's just one of those things that happens that nobody knows why.
Thus the mountain is made from the molehill. Job done. I should have left after the first break today. Gone down to McCarthy's.
I'm surprised you haven't. With all the corned beef and cabbage that's flying around here today.
It's grossing me out.
Hey, by the way, coming up, we have we're going to be talking to the guys from Young Dubliners. We got Keith and Justin Pakes is going to be on with us, and we're going to be getting into the Irish spirit coming up in about an hour.
And they're not going to be in studio? What, they don't have a booking today? I mean, this is going to be the first time.
No, it's the pandemic
this
situation.
Is gonna be the first time, or I guess since last year.
I know Keith is itching to get out.
You know, it's interesting because last time I talked to him about it, he used to do the San Diego thing all the time. It was a big, big deal.
Festival, yeah.
And then Disney came at them and said, hey, we like you guys. And when Disney comes at you and says, hey, we like you guys, you don't turn down that kind of money. So then they were going to go to Orlando for like the next 3 or 4 years and do St. Patrick's Day down there. I think that's not a thing right now.
Because of what's going on.
Yeah, you can't have...
Even in Florida where they don't have the restrictions?
Yeah, I mean, they still...
But it's still Disney.
Yeah, you got to limit it. You can't be just, you can't throw it to caution to the wind like Miami Beach does.
Well, we'll have to ask him about it. So we got Keith Roberts from the Young Dubliners, and he's got Justin with him, and we're going to be jamming out some Irish tunes coming up at 8:30 this morning. So get your JMO or your Bushmills, or I don't know any other Irish whiskeys that I can think of off the top of my head, but grab it, my friend. For somebody who's 37.5% Irish, I should be able to talk more Irish than I do. But if I don't want to overdo it.
Irish is English, right?
Irish is English. No, the one time I went to France, and the place I wanted to go when I could just talk to somebody was that we would go to pubs because they spoke the King's English. They didn't speak this French stuff. But anyways, they'll be joining us coming up. The Young Dubliners live with us this morning, starting at 8:30.
Whoa! Jeff and Jeremy in the morning.
It's Jeff and Jeremy right here hanging out with you. KZOZ.com online. We're on Alexa. Beam us in. Just say, hey, Alexa, start KZOZ. We'll pipe right in there. You can say play KZOZ. Start to play. It works. You can also get this in podcast form every day. You can subscribe to it. It'll just pop right in there. Whatever we're talking about for the day, you can get caught up in just a few minutes. Jeff and Jeremy in the morning on Apple, Spotify, Google, all your big players and more. You should be able to find us everywhere. Just search Jeff and Jeremy in the morning.
I feel as if, though, we used to be a society that appreciated things that were, that made us think, that challenged us.
Sure.
I guess. I don't know if that's the case in this one. Because I feel as if, though, now we're just kind of trudging along, worried about everybody's feelings.
Yeah, that is a big part of it.
Peacock was developing a show with Will Forte that has come under fire. The show's called Expiration Date. Okay. And it's described by the network and the developers of the program as a dark suburban soap in which a man finds a life insurance policy that covers suicide, so long as the individual does not carry out the act within 12 months. So he sets about planning out his final year because he wants to commit suicide, but he doesn't want to leave his family hanging in the balance. Interesting concept for a show. I got to be honest with you. That's
very dark.
It's dark, but interesting concept.
I always think that takes a certain audience or person to watch a show about a guy that's contemplating something that's serious and dark.
One mental health organization calls the concept wildly irresponsible and callous. They say that it will no doubt endanger countless viewers.
Because of what? It'll plant a seed in their head. I mean, if people are going to do something, they're going to do something. I don't know. They're saying the TV show is going to influence people to do something drastic.
Founder of the mental health organization Inseparable says glamorizing suicide leads to contagion that is a fact. The last thing we need is a reckless show hinged on the question of will he or won't he succumb to the devastation of depression. It's an all too real and painful experience for millions of Americans. Has this topic never been covered before? No, it has. 13 Reasons. 13 Reasons was about suicide. I mean, that was a show completely about suicide. Was there I know that there was some controversy surrounding it.
I mean, it was about high school pressure, I think, peer pressure from high school, from being that age. I mean, suicide was a part of it. And yes, it was the basis of what the show really was about because, somebody couldn't take it anymore. And instead of getting help, took
Is all art
sad,
going to be canceled because it might offend somebody?
Can we not learn something from this kind of stuff, though? Can we not learn?
That's what I'm saying. Like, can you? Is there a positive that you could take away from it? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there is. You could look at both sides of the coin. When any piece of art that you sit there and consume, listen, view, there are two sides to the story.
I guess I'm a little bit more open to it than just shutting it down because of what the plot
It's
says.
offensive to some people.
Everything is offensive to some people. I mean, for God's sakes, you and I offend people on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
We get the letters and the calls and all that kind of stuff. But, it just happens. Anything that is considered entertainment is going to offend somebody.
Because it's going to make you think.
But all of a sudden now, just because something offends you, you think you have the power to, destroy it or shut it down, even though maybe it could help or entertain other people. I don't know. It's hard to say. This to me is the cancel culture, right? I mean, this is the same thing.
It really is. Like if
I don't like
Peacock
it. I've never
succumbs to the
sensitive people, get out of it.
If Peacock succumbs to the pressure from a group and doesn't develop this thing and go all the way through it with it, then it's like what do we have left? What is it? Is it all going to be puppy dogs, kittens, and rainbows, and everybody's watching the same shows?
And that'll have a backfire effect on us eventually as well.
Yeah, because it will soften us up.
It's way too soft.
Like we need stuff that makes us think and challenge us.
I can't say that I've ever watched a TV show or a movie or something that has offended me. But there's definitely things I don't like that aren't my taste. But even if something did offend me or I didn't like it, I would just move on. It wouldn't make it my business to try to destroy what it is. Because maybe it's not all about me. Maybe there's something I don't understand.
Right. Like my wife, we sat down to watch Ozark. And because a lot of people were talking about it, it was recommended. And
I was one of the persons that recommended.
And we watched the first episode, and she made the conscious decision, I'm not going to watch this anymore. I can't watch this anymore. It's too much for me. But she didn't say this show should be taken off the air because I don't like it. She said it's not my thing. Now I want to watch it, but I can never get TV time away from her. So I've watched the first episode as well. And
I can't believe you didn't watch the second episode. Once you watch the second and third episode, I guarantee you are so hooked.
Yeah, the thing is, the only time I get to watch TV is late at night like that. And I don't want to watch it as the last thing I watch before I go to bed. You know?
Do you ever bet her things like you and I bet, and then the loser has to do whatever? I do this with my wife. I'm like, all right, if I win whatever, then you have to sit through and watch this with me. I can't think of a time when she thought she wasn't going to like something that I made her sit through and watch it because she lost a bet, and she ended up loving it. And then she's like, hey, when are we going to watch the rest of that? When are we going to watch the rest of that? You could, I'm just saying.
Yeah,
it's pretty manipulative, but I am a little bit.
That's not going to work on our end. She doesn't want to watch it. She's not going to watch it.
Oh,
just like I don't watch The Crown with her. You know, I mean,
are we to a point where people are kind of getting tired of the cancel culture? I mean, I know some people.
Yes.
Some people are like, you guys are morons. You don't know what you're talking about. The cancel culture is a good thing. You're just making it a negative thing. We need to get rid of some of these things. But a lot of people I know, and a lot of people I've heard from, are tired of this pussification of America. I mean, for a lack of a better term, I don't know what else to say.
I mean, it sounds like an interesting concept for a show. I mean, what would you do if you knew you had a year to live because of an insurance policy in which you decided to leave, to check out? That's a very interesting concept. It might not be for everybody, but who are we to say, oh, it's recklessly dangerous because people that they're dealing with?
There's so much entertainment out there. There's so many TV shows. There's so many apps now with shows on them that you don't have to watch it. Whatever happened to that? You don't have to watch it.
Absolutely.
You don't have to listen to this. You can turn the channel. You can go listen to something else. 805-543-3693. Always love to hear what you think. The 805 Beer lines. You can call or text. Live the 805 lifestyle. Let us know. 805beer.com. Text now 805-543-3693.
Subscribe to the Jeff and Jeremy podcast now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, and YouTube. It's your Central Coast commute-friendly podcast.